Hello. We're going to be doing chapter 4 for business math, which is called checking accounts. This is for lesson 4.1 deposits. This lesson isn't, it's the very beginning, so it's generally a little bit easier in the first lesson here. So I'm just going to walk through kind of the first deposit slip. First, let's kind of do the introduction that I normally do here. So make sure you're reading through the book, looking through the examples, taking a look at any of the formulas they have in there. Don't just assume that the worksheet is everything that you need. For this class, you really kind of need the background information that the book is giving you for a lot of these things, for the vocabulary and the concepts. So make sure you're reading the textbooks. Textbook, there's only one. All right, so they always give you this little bit at the top here, which is just the summary, basically, of the section. So a deposit is an amount of money that you put into a bank account. You use a deposit slip to record the amounts of currency, coins, and checks that you deposit. To open a checking account, you must make a deposit. So then they give you a formula right there. So total deposit equals currency, coins, and checks, all added together. So the sum of all of these things, minus cash received. So I'm hoping so far this doesn't sound too crazy to anybody. We're just going to add all the money up that we're putting into the account, and then if we want cash back, we need to take that away from the deposit because we're getting that back, right? So if you look at this deposit slip, they don't want you to fill anything in here. They haven't given you any extra information. All they want you to do is add together. Whoops. Need to turn my little paper thing here sideways. Let's see. Why won't it go? Why isn't undo working? Interesting. I can't undo right now. All right. Well, we'll pretend like I drew a straight line the first time there. So they just want you to add together all the lines. So if there were things up here, you would add them just straight down. So you got all the cents and carry over just like normal. Make sure you're adding correctly. And you would just come up with your subtotal, which would be $895.45. It's adding straight down. Now, less cash received, well, and it says less, so it's telling you that you're not going to get, that's not going to be part of your deposit. You're asking for that back. Maybe you had a lot. Oh, and these are checks too. That's another reason. So sometimes too, when you're depositing currency or coins, and I used to do this when I volunteered for the snack bar a lot of the time. Well, with snack bar, you get a lot of lower bills. So if you want money back in certain denominations, like 20s, then you might deposit all the money and ask for 2 20s back or something along those lines. Or vice versa, when I needed money for the snack bar, I needed to bring a lot of small denominations like 1s and 5s and 10s, because sometimes people would come in with 20s or even hundreds. That happened a few times. We had to turn people away. And we just wouldn't have the change for them if we didn't do that. So anyway, just kind of real life stories there. All right, so we're going to subtract $40 from our deposit, and we get $855.47. Okay, so this is the entire problem right here. So don't fill in this area up here. That stays empty. There's nothing to put there. And I've seen students fill out charts simply because there's blank spaces. So only fill out the spots that hopefully make sense to be filled out there. If they didn't give you currency or coins, then you wouldn't even have an idea of what to put there. All right. So if we scooch down here, I'm not necessarily going to do these problems. I'm just going to look them over real quick. So the main thing, same idea. You're adding together your deposit. There is no cash received here, so your subtotal is going to be your deposit. You're not taking anything back. So same idea with 3 and 4. You're going to add together the checks, and then you're going to subtract the cash received. Okay. All right, let's go to the second page here. So all of the problems on the second page, I'm not even going to go up to the top here, are exactly the same. 5, 6, and 7. You're adding the checks, you're subtracting the cash, or adding checks, cash, and coin, and subtracting the checks, because some of them do have it. So in number 7, the only difference is they give you the story, or for 6 and 7, and they want you to fill out the deposit slip. So make sure you go through and fill out the deposit slip. So when it gives you all of these coins, so 2 $10 bills, 3 $1 bills, 10 quarters, 10 dimes, you need to figure out how much you have there. And as far as currency, that's dollars, right? Or bills. And then coins, that's just, the coins here. So 10 quarters, 10 dimes, you need to figure out how much money that actually is. And then that's what you'll put in the coin section. So a little bit of math there as far as calculating all the amounts for each piece here. The checks always go in separately. Usually they only give you a couple lines here, but a lot of the time deposit slips have quite a few lines where you can put quite a few checks in there. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the algebra version here. So again, algebra does not mean that it's going to be harder. It just means that they want you to take, what did we just learn? How do I apply it to the situation? And usually what you're going to be given a total amount, and you're going to have to find one of the other little missing pieces. That's generally what the algebra problems are. So Chuck Mallory makes a deposit at an ATM and walks away with $50 in cash, and the receipt for $538. So we know this is his total deposit. So they're giving us the total this time. We also know less cash received. So he remembers that the checks deposited totaled twice the currency he deposited. He did not deposit any coins. How much in currency did he deposit? How much in checks did he deposit? All right, so if we know we have money, right? Or you know what, I'm going to go. Oh, I can't undo. Darn it, I forgot. Usually I can undo. So I'm going to just go ahead with money deposited. And we're going to subtract $50 from however much money he deposited. Remember, that's what we're trying to figure out. We want two things. And they didn't give you 2 lines on this one for whatever reason, but we are looking for 2 answers. How much did he deposit in currency? How much did he deposit in checks? And this is going to equal 538. All right, so here's kind of a basic formula for us. Now, money deposited would be checks plus cash. So I'm going to start using parentheses here because now I have these 2 things added together. Minus our 50 received still equals the 538. So I'm just breaking down these words so that you can kind of follow my thought process here on how am I building the equation. And then we need to start giving the variables because we don't want really words in the whole equation here. So cash, I'm just going to give the letter C. So C equals cash. And then they told us that checks deposited totaled twice the currency. So I'm sorry, not cash. That I should have wrote currency there, but same idea. This isn't cash received. This is the currency or the cash that we're depositing. So checks are twice the currency or twice the cash, right? That's what they just told us. Checks deposited total twice the currency. So we're still adding these guys together. Boom, boom. We're still subtracting $50. So we haven't really started doing any calculations yet. I'm just showing you, again, the thought process. How do I get these words into an equation? And I'm kind of breaking it down a little slower like that. All right, so I'm going to rewrite it, and I'm going to rewrite it up here just to make it a little easier. So we have 2C plus C, no, not times, sorry, minus 50 equals 538. All right, so 2C plus C, I can add those together. Those are like terms. They're both C, right? They're both cash or currency, whichever word you're using here. So I have 3 currency minus 50 equals 538. All right, now I can start solving this. So, depending on where you are with your high school career here, you may have already taken IM1 or IM2. And so I'm hoping at this point that you have seen Pemdas. And regardless, you should have seen this in junior high. Definitely, we start this pretty young. So PEMDAS is just, it's a way to remember our order of operations. So please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Most students recognize this pretty quickly. And this is a way to simplify. And it's simplifying expressions. So it's, you do parentheses, which is what we did here, right? 2c plus c was 3c. Exponents, we didn't have any exponents, you know. Multiplication, division together. So you go from left to right with that one. So whatever comes first from left to right. If you have multiplication, division, you do in order from left to right. And then addition, subtraction, same idea. From left to right, they kind of go together. So these two are kind of grouped. You don't do all multiplication and then all division. It would kind of throw off the problem. So you go this direction to simplify. And then to solve, you go this direction, but you would stop at multiplication here. Boop. Because if you are going past multiplication after you've already simplified, then you didn't simplify all the way. Because we shouldn't have parentheses or exponents anymore. It should be gone. The only exception to exponents would be if you have a variable with an exponent. Don't think that's going to happen in business math, though. So when we're going backwards, the reason I say that to solve is it kind of gives you a way to remember. We do addition and subtraction first, then multiplication, division. So we kind of go backwards from PEMDAS. So I find the number here that's being subtracted from my variable, and I add it to both sides. Boop. 3c drops down. 50 minus 50 cancels out. It becomes 0. And then we end up with 588. Reading sideways here again. All right, 588. Now we can do multiplication or division. It's going to be one or the other when you're solving. You're not going to do addition and subtraction, multiplication and division. It's going to be one or the other. So I'm multiplying by 3, so I'm going to divide by 3. 3 divided by 3 gives us c equals 588 divided by 3 will give us our cash here, which is, or currency, sorry, I keep saying cash, $196. We have $196, and that's our cash, $196. And we need our checks, which we would just say 2 times C is, so we would take 196 times 2, and that would give us, boop, boop, boop. I believe I have it written down. I do. 392. So we have, oh, I forgot my dollar sign up here. $392. So, not necessarily a difficult problem, but definitely you have to remember those steps. And we are definitely using some beginnings of the algebra class. This is a two-step equation that we have to simplify and then solve. All right, well, I hope that helped, and I will see you in section 2.